A student's overview of the Ageless wisdom was carefully compiled from the following books by Alice A. Bailey. A Treatise on Cosmic Fire. Esoteric Psychology, Volumes 1 and 2. Esoteric Healing. Esoteric Astrology. The Rays and the Initiations. Students are encouraged to download the free PDF version of this overview by following the link in the video's description, or to order a printed copy at cost from thebookpatch.com, but are advised to read the original, unabridged books in order to gain deeper insight into the ageless wisdom. Students are also invited to join our online study group at facebook.com/groups/students of the ageless wisdom. Chapter 26, Esoteric Psychology Volume 1. Perspective on the Soul. Here I shall give but 4 definitions which will serve as a basis for all that follows. 1. The soul can be spoken of as the son of the father and of the mother, spirit matter, and is therefore the embodied life of God, coming into incarnation in order to reveal the quality of the nature of God, which is essential love. This life, taking form, nurtures the quality of love within all forms, and ultimately reveals the purpose of all creation. 2. The soul can be regarded as the principle of intelligence, an intelligence whose characteristics are mind and mental awareness, which in turn demonstrate as the power to analyze, to discriminate, to separate, and to distinguish, to choose or to reject, with all the implications conveyed in these terms. 3. The soul is a unit of light, colored by a particular ray vibration. It is a vibrating center of energy found within the appearance or form of its entire ray life. It is one of 7 groups of millions of lives which in their totality constitute the one life. From its very nature, the soul is conscious or aware in 3 directions. It is God-conscious, it is group-conscious, it is self-conscious. This self-conscious aspect is brought to fruition in the phenomenal appearance of a human being. The group-conscious aspect retains the human state of consciousness, but adds to it awareness of its ray life, progressively unfolded. Its awareness then is the awareness of love, of quality, of spirit in its relationships. It is God-conscious only potentially, and in that unfoldment lies, for the soul, its own growth upward and outward after its self-conscious aspect is perfected and its group awareness is recognized. 1. The soul is the Son of God, the product of the union of spirit and matter. 2. The soul is an embodiment of conscious mind, the expression, if one might so phrase it, of divine intelligent awareness. 3. The soul is a unit of energy, vibrating in unison with one of the 7 ray lives, and colored by a particular ray light. 7. The personality of the soul is intended to be an embodiment of love, applied with intelligence and producing those attractive forms which will serve to express that loving intelligence. The soul in its turn is intended to be the embodiment of divine purpose or will, intelligently applied in the great creative work, which is produced through the power of creative love. The rays in detail. Each of the great rays has a form of teaching truth to humanity which is its unique contribution, and in this way develops man by a system or technique which is qualified by the ray quality and is therefore specific and unique. Let me point out to you the modes of this group teaching. The rays, higher and lower expressions. Ray I higher expression, the science of statesmanship, of government. Lower expression, modern diplomacy and politics. Ray 2 higher expression, the process of initiation as taught by the hierarchy of adepts. Lower expression, religion. Ray 3 higher expression, means of communication or interaction. The radio, telephone, telegraph and the power to travel. Lower expression, the use and spread of money and gold. Ray 4 higher expression, the Masonic work, based on the formation of the hierarchy, and related to the second ray. Lower expression, architectural construction. Modern city planning. Ray V higher expression, the science of the soul. Esoteric psychology. Lower expression, modern educational systems and mental science. Ray 6 higher expression, Christianity and diversified religions. Notice the relation to Ray 2. Lower expression, churches and organized religions. Ray VII higher expression, all forms of white magic. Lower expression, spiritualism of phenomena. The planes or manifested spheres of expression are influenced in manifestation in a numerical order. Ray I will or power plane of divinity. Ray 2 love wisdom plane of the monad. Ray 3 active intelligence plane of spirit, Atma. Ray 4 harmony plane of the intuition. Ray V concrete knowledge mental plane. Ray 6 devotion, idealism astral plane. Ray 7 ceremonial order physical plane. The soul is the principle of sentiency, underlying all outer manifestation, pervading all forms, and constituting the consciousness of God Himself. When the soul, immersed in substance, is simply sentiency, it produces through its evolutionary interplay an addition, and we find emerging quality and capacity to react to vibration and to environment. This is the soul as it expresses itself in all the subhuman kingdoms in nature. When the soul, an expression of sentiency and quality, adds to these the capacity of detached self-awareness, there appears that self-identified entity which we call a human being. When the soul adds to sentiency, quality and self-awareness, the consciousness of the group, then we have identification with a ray group, and there appears the disciple, the initiate and the master. When the soul adds to sentiency, quality, self-awareness and group consciousness, a consciousness of divine synthetic purpose, called by us the plan, then we have that state of being and knowledge which is distinctive of all upon the path of initiation, and includes those graded lives, from the more advanced disciple up to the planetary Logos himself. End of page 128. Forget not that when we make these distinctions it is nevertheless one soul that is functioning, acting through vehicles of varying capacities, of differentiated refinements and of greater and lesser limitations, in just the same sense as a man is one identity, working sometimes through a physical body and sometimes through a feeling body or a mental body, and sometimes knowing himself to be the self, a rare and unusual occurrence for the majority. The 7 rays are the sum total of the divine consciousness, of the universal mind. They might be regarded as 7 intelligent entities through whom the plan is working out. They embody divine purpose, express the qualities required for the materializing of that purpose, and they create the forms and are the forms through which the divine idea can be carried forward to completion. Symbolically, they may be regarded as constituting the brain of the divine heavenly man. They correspond to the ventricles of the brain, to the 7 centers within the brain, to the 7 centers of force, and to the 7 major glands which determine the quality of the physical body. They are the conscious executors of divine purpose. They are the 7 breaths, animating all forms which have been created by them to carry out the plan. It may perhaps be easier to understand the relation of the 7 rays to deity if we remember that man himself, being made in the image of God, is a 7-fold being, capable of 7 states of consciousness, expressive of the 7 principles or basic qualities which enable him to be aware of the 7 planes upon which he is, consciously or unconsciously, functioning. He is a subordinate at all times, but his objective is to be consciously aware of all the states of being, to express consciously all the qualities, and to function freely on all the planes. The 7-ray beings, unlike man, are fully conscious and entirely aware of the purpose and the plan. They are ever in deep meditation and have reached the point where, through their advanced stage of development, they are impelled toward fulfillment. They are fully self-conscious and group-conscious. They are the sum total of the universal mind. They are awake and active. Their goal and their purpose is such that it is idle for us to speculate about it, for the highest point of achievement for man is the lowest point for them. These 7 rays, breaths and heavenly men have the task of wrestling with matter in order to subjugate it to divine purpose, and the goal, as far as one can sense it, is to subject the material forms to the play of the life aspect, thus producing those qualities which will carry the will of God to completion. They are therefore the sum total of all the souls within the solar system, and their activity produces all forms. According to the nature of the form, so will be the grade of consciousness. Through the 7 rays, the life or spirit aspect flows, cycling through every kingdom in nature and producing thus all states of consciousness in all fields of awareness. For the purpose of this treatise, students will have to accept the hypothesis that every human being is swept into manifestation on the impulse of some ray, and is colored by that particular ray quality, which determines the form aspect, indicates the way he should go, and enables him, by the time the 3rd initiation is reached, to have sensed and then to have cooperated with his ray purpose. After the 3rd initiation he begins to sense the synthetic purpose towards which all the 7 rays are working. But as this treatise is written for aspirants and disciples, and not for initiates of the 3rd degree, it is needless to speculate upon this ultimate destiny. The human soul is a synthesis of material energy, qualified by intelligent consciousness, plus the spiritual energy which is, in its turn, qualified by one of the 7 ray types. Thus the human being emerges, a Son of God incarnate in form, with one hand holding firmly to the rock of matter and with the other hand plunged into a sea of love. The rays concern energy and consciousness, and determine expression, but where the matter utilized and the vehicle informed is as yet imperfectly evolved, there is then limitation and the tuning out automatically of much of the energy. The effect of ray force, working through imperfect forms, must be distorted and curtailed and misapplied. We come now to a technical statement which must be accepted for the sake of argument, being incapable of proof. All the lords of the rays create a body of expression, and thus the 7 planets have come into being. End of page 129. These are the major expressions of the Lords of the Rays. 1. The Sun, veiling Vulcan. 2. Jupiter. 3. Saturn. 4. Mercury. 5. Venus. 6. Mars. 7. The Moon. The energies of these 7 lives, however, are not confined to their planetary expressions, but sweep around the confines of the solar system just as the life impulses of a human being, his vital forces, his desire impulses, and his mental energies, sweep throughout his body, bringing the various organs into activity and enabling him to carry out his intent, to live his life, and to fulfill the objective for which he created his body of manifestation. Each of the 7 kingdoms in nature reacts to the energy of some particular ray life. Each of the 7 planes similarly reacts. Each subtinate in nature vibrates to one or another of the initial subtinates, for the 7 rays establish that process which assigns the limits of influence of all forms. They are that which determines all things, and when I use these words I indicate the necessity of law. Law is the will of the 7 deities, making its impression upon substance in order to produce a specific intent through the method of the evolutionary process. First ray of will or power. Special virtues: strength, courage, steadfastness, truthfulness arising from absolute fearlessness, power of ruling, capacity to grasp great questions in a large-minded way, and of handling men and measures. Vices of Ray: pride, ambition, willfulness, hardness, arrogance, desire to control others, obstinacy, anger. Virtues to be acquired: tenderness, humility, sympathy, tolerance, patience. This has been spoken of as the ray of power, and is correctly so called, but if it were power alone, without wisdom and love, a destructive and disintegrating force would result. When, however, the 3 characteristics are united, it becomes a creative and governing ray. Those on this ray have strong will power, for either good or evil, for the former when the will is directed by wisdom and made selfless by love. The first ray man will always come to the front in his own line. He may be the burglar or the judge who condemns him, but in either case he will be at the head of his profession. He is the born leader in any and every public career, one to trust and lean on, one to defend the weak and put down oppression, fearless of consequences and utterly indifferent to comment. On the other hand, an unmodified first ray can produce a man of unrelenting cruelty and hardness of nature. 1. Kill out desire when desire has fulfilled its work. Thou art the one who indicates fulfillment. Quality, clear vision. 2. Seek out the gentle way, O Lord of power. Wait for thy brother on the path of love. He builds the forms that can withstand thy power. Quality, dynamic power. 3. Withhold the hand until the time has come. Then give the gift of death, O opener of the door. Quality, sense of time. 4. Stand not alone, but with the many join thyself. Thou art the one, the isolated. Come forth unto thine own. Quality, solitariness. 5. Lead thine own forth but learn to know thine own. Hate not attachment but see its plan and purpose. Quality, detachment. 6. Through thee the life pulsates, the rhythm is imposed. The life is all. Love life in all its forms. Quality, singleness of purpose. End of page 130. The second ray of love, wisdom. Special virtues: calm, strength, patience and endurance, love of truth, faithfulness, intuition, clear intelligence, and serene temper. Vices of ray: over-absorption in study, coldness, indifference to others, contempt of mental limitations in others. Virtues to be acquired: love, compassion, unselfishness, energy. This is called the ray of wisdom from its characteristic desire for pure knowledge and for absolute truth, cold and selfish, if without love, and inactive without power. When both power and love are present, then you have the ray of the Buddhas and of all great teachers of humanity, those who, having attained wisdom for the sake of others, spend themselves in giving it forth. The student on this ray is ever unsatisfied with his highest attainments. No matter how great his knowledge, his mind is still fixed on the unknown, the beyond, and on the heights as yet unscaled. The legend tells us that the 6 brothers summarize his qualities in the following aphorisms. 1. Send forth the word and speak the radiant love of God. Make all men hear. Quality, love divine. 2. Let the glory of the Lord shine forth. Let there be radiant light as well as radiant love. Quality, radiance. 3. Draw to thyself the object of thy search. Pull forth into the light of day from out the night of time the one thou lovest. Quality, attraction. 4. When light and love are shewn forth, then let the power within produce the perfect flower. Let the word that heals the form go forth. That secret word that then must be revealed. Quality, the power to save. 5. Salvation, light, and love, with the magnetic power of God, produce the word of wisdom. Send forth that word, and lead the sons of men from off the path of knowledge onto the path of understanding. Quality, wisdom. 6. Within the radius of the love of God, within the circle of the solar system, all forms, all souls, all lives revolve. Let each son of God enter into this wisdom. Reveal to each the oneness of the many lives. Quality, expansion or inclusiveness. The third ray of higher mind. Special virtues: wide views on all abstract questions, sincerity of purpose, clear intellect, capacity for concentration on philosophic studies, patience, caution, absence of the tendency to worry himself or others over trifles. Vices of ray: intellectual pride, coldness, isolation, inaccuracy in details, absent-mindedness, obstinacy, selfishness, overmuch criticism of others. Virtues to be acquired: sympathy, tolerance, devotion, accuracy, energy and common sense. This is the ray of the abstract thinker, of the philosopher and the metaphysician, of the man who delights in the higher mathematics but who, unless modified by some practical ray, would hardly be troubled to keep his accounts accurately. His imaginative faculty will be highly developed, i.e., he can by the power of his imagination grasp the essence of a truth. His idealism will often be strong. He is a dreamer and a End of page 133. Theorist, and from his wide views and great caution he sees every side of a question equally clearly. This sometimes paralyzes his action. He will make a good businessman. As a soldier he will work out a problem in tactics at his desk, but is seldom great in the field. As an artist his technique is not fine, but his subjects will be full of thought and interest. He will love music, but unless influenced by the fourth ray he will not produce it. In all walks of life he is full of ideas, but is too impractical to carry them out. 1. Produce the dual form and veil the life. Let form appear, and prove itself divine. All is of God. Quality, the power to manifest. 2. Conform the shell to that which dwells within. Let the world egg appear. Let ages pass, then let the soul appear. Let life emerge within a destined time. Quality, the power to evolve. 3. Let mind control. Let the clear shining of the Sun of Life reveal the mind of God, and set the Shining One upon his way. Then lead him to the central point where all is lost within the light supernal. Quality, mental illumination. 4. God and his form are one. Reveal this fact, O sovereign Lord of form. God and his form are one. Negate the dual concept. Lend color to the form. The life is one, the harmony complete. Prove. Thus the two are one. Quality. The power to produce synthesis on the physical plane. 5. Produce the garment of the Lord, set forth the robe of many colors. Then separate that robe from that which hides behind its many folds. Take off the veiling sheaths. Let God be seen. Take Christ from off the cross. Quality, scientific investigation. 6. Let the two paths converge. Balance the pairs of opposites and let the path appear between the two. God and the path and man are one. Quality, balance. Thus the three major rays sum up in themselves the process of creation, of energizing, through the urge of the divine will, and the work of the four minor rays, as they are called, though with no idea of their being lesser or greater, is to elaborate or differentiate the qualities of the life, and so produce the infinite multiplicity of forms which will enable the life to assume its many points of focus and express, through the process of evolutionary manifestation, its diverse characteristics. The fourth ray of harmony through conflict. Special virtues. Strong affections, sympathy, physical courage, generosity, devotion, quickness of intellect and perception. Vices of ray. Self-centeredness, worrying, inaccuracy, lack of moral courage, strong passions, indolence, extravagance. Virtues to be acquired. Serenity, confidence, self-control, purity, unselfishness, accuracy, mental and moral balance. This has been called the ray of struggle, for on this ray the qualities of rajas, activity, and tamas, inertia, are so strangely equal in proportion that the nature of the fourth ray man is torn with their combat, and the outcome, when satisfactory, is spoken of as the birth of Horus of the Christ, born from the throes of constant pain and suffering. 1. Speak low the word. Speak low. Quality, power to penetrate the depths of matter. 2. Champion desire. Give what is needed to the seeker. Quality, the dual aspects of desire. 3. Lower the thread. Unfold the way. Link man with God. Arise. Quality, power to reveal the path. 4. All flowers are thine. Settle the roots in mud, the flowers in sun. Prove mud and sun, and roots and flowers are one. Quality, power to express divinity. Growth. 5. Roll and return, and roll again. Cycle around the circle of the heavens. Prove all is one. Quality, the harmony of the spheres. 6. Color the sound. Sound forth the color. Produce the notes and see them pass into the shades, which in their turn produce the sounds. Thus all are seen as one. Quality, the synthesis of true beauty. End of page 134. The fifth ray of lower mind. Special virtues. Strictly accurate statements, justice, without mercy, perseverance, common sense, uprightness, independence, keen intellect. Vices of ray. Harsh criticism, narrowness, arrogance, unforgiving temper, lack of sympathy and reverence, prejudice. Virtues to be acquired. Reverence, devotion, sympathy, love, wide-mindedness. This is the ray of science and of research. The man on this ray will possess keen intellect, great accuracy in detail, and will make unwearied efforts to trace the smallest fact to its source, and to verify every theory. He will generally be extremely truthful, full of lucid explanation of facts, though sometimes pedantic and wearisome from his insistence on trivial and unnecessary verbal minutiae. He will be orderly, punctual, businesslike, disliking to receive favors or flattery. 1. Abstract or higher mind, the embodiment of a higher triad. 2. The concrete or lower mind, the highest aspect of the lower self. 3. The ego or solar angel, the pure son of mind, who expresses intelligence, both abstractly and concretely, and is the point of unification. This life has also much power today in connection with the fifth root race and with the transference of the consciousness of humanity into the fifth or spiritual kingdom. Students would learn much if they contrasted the building power of the higher mind with the destroying power of the lower. Just as the personality has no other function in the divine plan than to be a channel for, and the medium of expression of, the soul, so the lower mind is intended to be the channel for the pure inflow of higher mind energy. 1. God and his angels now arise and see. Let the mountain tops emerge from out the dense wet mist. Let the sun touch their summits and let them stand in light. Shine forth. Quality. Emergence into form and out of form. 2. God and his angels now arise and hear. Let a deep murmur rise and let the cry of seeking man enter into their ears. Let man listen. Let man call. Speak loud. Quality, power to make the voice of the silence heard. 3. God and his angels now arise and touch. Bring forth the rod of power. Extend it outward toward the sons of men, touch them with fire, then bring them near. Bring forth. Quality. Initiating activity. 4. God and his angels now arise and taste. Let all experience come. Let all the ways appear. Discern and choose, dissect and analyze. All ways are one. Quality, revelation of the way. 5. God and his angels now arise and sense the odor rising from the burning ground of man. Let the fire do its work. Draw man within the furnace and let him drop within the rose-red center the nature that retards. Let the fire burn. Quality, purification with fire. 6. God and his angels now arise and fuse the many in the one. Let the blending work proceed. Let that which causes all to be produce the cause of their cessation. Let one temple now emerge. Produce the crowning glory. So let it be. Quality, the manifestation of the great white light. The Shekhinah. End of page 135. The sixth ray of devotion. Special virtues. Devotion, single-mindedness, love, tenderness, intuition, loyalty, reverence. Vices of ray. Selfish and jealous love, overleaning on others, partiality, self-deception, sectarianism, superstition, prejudice, over-rapid conclusions, fiery anger. Virtues to be acquired. Strength, self-sacrifice, purity, truth, tolerance, serenity, balance and common sense. This is called the ray of devotion. The man who is on this ray is full of religious instincts and impulses, and of intense personal feeling. Nothing is taken equably. Everything, in his eyes, is either perfect or intolerable. His friends are angels, his enemies are very much the reverse. His view, in both cases, is formed not on the intrinsic merits of either class, but on the way the persons appeal to him, or on the sympathy or lack of sympathy which they show to his favorite idols, whether these be concrete or abstract, for he is full of devotion. It may be to a person, or it may be to a cause. Curiously enough, this sixth ray Lord has always been a loved enigma to his six brethren. This comes out in the questions which they addressed to him on one occasion when they met under the eye of the Lord to interchange their plans for united, divine, harmonious action. They asked these questions in a spirit of heavenly joy and love, but with the intent to throw some light upon the somewhat obscure quality of their loved brother. 1. Why is desire red? Why red as blood? Tell us, O Son of God, why thy way is red with blood. Quality, power to kill out desire. 2. Why do you turn your back upon the sphere of earth? Is it too small, too poor? Why kick it as a ball upon a playing field? Quality, spurning that which is not desired. 3. Why set the cross from earth to heaven? But earth can be a heaven. Why mount the cross and die? Quality, self-immolation. 4. Why battle thus with all that is around? Seek you not peace? Why stand between the forces of the night and day? Why thus unmoved and calm, untired and unafraid? Quality, endurance and fearlessness. 5. See you not God in all, the life in all, and love in all. Why separate yourself and leave behind the loved and the well-known quality, power to detach oneself? 6. Can you arrest the waters of the sixth great sphere? Can you stem the flood? Can you recover both the raven and the dove? Can you, the fish, swim free? Quality, overcoming the waters of the emotional nature. End of chapter 26.